Okay, I want to show you another way to play that Hendrix major chord. For instance, if I wanted to play the C major, and I taught you this inversion, I have another way to do some of those tricks, and it's with the root on the B string, actually. So don't get scared. A lot of times we've been doing the roots on the E and the A string, but now we just want to locate it by knowing our roots on the B string. Honestly, if you're an intermediate player, which this DVD is intended for you, you should be able to, find your notes on the neck. Okay, so we're going to do this. I'm going to change to an E major chord. Got the A root of E right there on the 7th fret. That's the E major bar chord right there. Then I have the inversion where I bar that and hammer that up. Okay, we've been using that a lot. Now the E note, that root E on the B string, is open B, C is the 1st fret, D, E, so the 5th fret. And what we want to do is if we play a D major shape right there, and the root's on the B string right there, that's an E major triad. That already we can do that. Okay, but we're going to play an inverted version of this classic D shape. And here's what we do. We put our middle finger, that one right there, that one right there. We're going to put that on the root. So remember, this is another Hendrix major chord, and we're finding it by the root on the B string. Okay, next I'm going to bar from the D string over, like that. Then I'm going to hammer on the D string a whole step up from that bar. Remember, the root's right there. We bar that. We're not worried about the high E, though. It's barred just out of the fact that your finger's going across. But we're focusing more on the D, G, and B strings here. Okay? We can hammer that on. And we can hammer on... We can hammer the G string as well. Remember how I said it's an E major? This little cluster we're using is actually as if our finger was a capo, and then our hand here is forming a C major shape. See, look at that. I know my fingers are chubby and in the way a little bit, but it's as if I was playing my finger down on the nut right here and then playing a C major chord. And so it'd be C major, D major, and then E major. So the root is also down here on the A string. But we're focusing on the D, G, and B string. So I'm not even worried about the low strings there on that. So now with an E major chord, you can play E major right there. I said it was D up a whole step. Or the inversion of that. Then we have the E bar chord right here. Then that inversion. So remember, everything I just did so far is all classified under E major. Then back to the regular bar chord. And it starts over again. Okay? Alright, so now I'm going to play a little E bass, just like a little low E groove. There it is on my looper. And now I'm going to go through those voicings. And so the interesting thing is when you start getting more than one chord into progression, you start to, you got to work at it, but you start to have more and more options, and you start building those melodies. And something that Hendrix did a lot was he had, obviously a bass player, and the bass player is holding down that just thick root, and he could just play with it. He could actually stop playing chords and do single notes that are kind of based off those chord shapes, some licks, some blues licks, and then back into those different chord voicings that he loved to use. So keep working at that, and then the next module is going to be another chord progression example, and we're going to just mess with those ideas and take it a little bit further. All right, hang tight.